Welcome to AIMS India online session. This is biology, nature and scope of biology. A very interesting lesson. The first lesson, nature and scope of biology. Are you ready, children? Let us go through the different aspects of nature and scope of the subject biology. What is biology? Biology is the subject which deals with the study of living organisms, isn't it? So, biology in ancient India, the first concept, biology in ancient India at the Vedic period, like that. References of classification of organisms are available in Upanishads and Vedas. Vedas and Upanishads. That is 1500 BC to 1600 BC, before Christ. However, the earliest human activity can be traced back to early, middle, and late Stone Age, that is 4 lakhs BC or to 2 lakhs BC, before Christ. So, about 740 plants and 250 animals have been mentioned in Vedic literature. Few significant references in old literature are, some evidences were given, some references. What are they? Chandogya Upanishad. So it is one of the Upanishad where the animals have been classified into 3 categories. In Chandogya Upanishad, the animals are classified into 3 categories. What are they? The first category, Jiraja. Jiraja means viviparous. Present we are calling it as viviparous, the animals which directly give birth to their young ones. And the second category, Andaja. Jiraja means viviparous. Andaja means oviparous, the animals which lay the eggs. Okay, animals which reproduce by laying eggs, they are called oviparous. So example, birds, reptiles, insects, worms. And the third category, that is Ubhija. Ubhija means the vegetal origin. Vegetal origin means neither egg laying nor oviparous. So they are a process called regeneration, like that. Okay, some small animals like amoeba, so they are Ubhija. Okay, so the references of classification of the animals are available in the Upanishads and Vedas. So few significant references in the old literature are Chandogya Upanishad. In the Chandogya Upanishad, the animals are classified into 3 categories. What are they? Viviparous, oviparous, and vegetal origin. Next, medical science in ancient India. Medical science in ancient India. So Charaka Samhita and Sushruta Samhita in ancient India, they are very popular in introducing the medical sciences. So Sushruta Samhita in 600 BC, according to him, the organisms were classified into Sthavara. Okay, they are classified into number 1, Sthavara. Sthavara means immobile, which cannot move. Sthavara, in which immobile organisms like plants were kept. Next group is Jangama. Jangama group. Jangama means which can move, mobile, in which the mobile organisms like animals were placed. So according to Sushruta Samhita, organisms are classified based on locomotion. The organisms which cannot move or immobile, they are categorized in Sthavara, which means immobile, example plants, and second category Jangama, where the organisms move from place to place, example animals. Next, two Ashwini Kumars, they are doctors, ancient, in the Vedic period. So two Ashwini Kumars has been said to be practicing medicine during Vedic times. Who are they? Dhanvantari, who has named or who has called the god of medicines. Dhanvantari was called as god of medicines in Vedic time. And Sushruta, this Sushruta has been called as the father of surgery. Father of surgery in ancient times. In ancient times, who was called the father of surgery? Sushruta. The few important references are: Sushruta studied human anatomy. The famous person Sushruta, who is called the father of surgery, he studied human anatomy on dead bodies. Next, Sushruta carried plastic surgery. He carried plastic surgery on human nose. The plastic surgery of nose is called as rhinoplasty. Rhinoplasty. Next, ophthalmic surgery means related to eyes. Sushruta carried an eye surgery like extraction of cataracts. Extraction of cataracts. Cataracts means on the retina, the innermost layer of the eye, if any layer is formed, tough layer or membrane is developed, then the person cannot able to see the objects clearly. So that is called cataract. So Sushruta carried an eye surgery like extraction of cataracts was done. Okay. So here you have to remember, Sushruta Samhita says that organisms were classified into Sthavara and Jangama. Sthavara means immobile, okay, stagnant, which cannot move, or stationary, which cannot move. Next, mobile, which can move, Jangama. The two Ashwini Kumars has been said practicing the medicine during Vedic times. Who are they? Dhanvantari and Sushruta. Dhanvantari called as god of medicines and Sushruta called as father of surgery. Sushruta studied the human anatomy on dead bodies, and Sushruta also carried out the plastic surgery of nose, rhinoplasty, at that Vedic time only. Ophthalmic surgery was also carried out, that is extraction of cataracts. Okay, so let us proceed. Medical science in ancient India. Clotting of blood, number 4, Sushruta. Sushruta carried the clotting of blood. Sushruta used the non-poisonous live leeches for checking clotting of blood in post-operative conditions. Post-operative means after the operation or surgery, he used non-poisonous leeches to test the clotting of blood. Now it's clearly established that heparin is the substance. So this heparin is the natural anticoagulant which is present in our blood, is released along the saliva of leech Saliva of leech also containing this heparin substance to produce this kind of effect. Which kind of effect? Clotting of blood prevented, because if the blood is exposed to outside, it immediately clots, but the leech produce this heparin substance, okay, and which helps it to suck the liquid blood. Next, Charaka Samhita. Now Sushruta completed. Charaka Samhita in 100 BC, it is said to be primarily written by Agnivasa under the guidance of Atreya in 600 BC. It is said to be primarily written by Charaka Samhita book was written by Agnivasa under the guidance of Atreya in 600 BC. Charaka was the first to discuss the concepts of digestion, metabolism and immunity. The concepts of digestion, metabolism and immunity. Immunity means the subject which deals with the resistance towards diseases. Okay. Charaka was the first to discuss the concepts. What are the concepts? Digestion, metabolism. Metabolism means it includes respiration, excretion and all this. Metabolism and immunity. Then Taittiriya Upanishad, another Upanishad, 7 to 8 BC. Taittiriya Upanishad. In this significant observations have been made about the process of evolution. Evolution means how the organisms are formed, okay, how this earth was formed. All these are studied under evolution. So in Taittiriya Upanishad, the significant observations have been made about the process of evolution. According to this, life originated in space. According to which? According to Taittiriya Upanishad, life originated in space. Next, Manu Samhita or Manu Smriti. Manu Smriti or Manu Samsmrita. Manu Samhita or Manu Smriti in 200 BC. In this significant Sanskrit literature, evolution has been widely discussed. Okay, how the living organisms are formed, how the earth was originated, how life is formed on the earth. All these things were actually there in the Taittiriya Upanishad and Manu Samhita or Manu Smriti. Okay. Next, fathers of various sciences. So actually the science, biology, here nature and scope of science actually. So the part related to biology we are discussing in this video. So there are many scientists who were called as fathers of different branches of sciences, like father of zoology and biology and founder of embryology. Who is called the father of zoology? Zoology means animal science and biology means study of living organisms, and father of embryology. Embryology means the study of development aspects in living organisms. So the multi-talented person, Aristotle, he is called the father of biology and father of zoology and founder of embryology. Next, father of botany. Botany is the study of plant sciences. So father of botany is Theophrastus. Theophrastus. Next, father of genetics. Genetics deals with the study of transformation of characters from parents to children. So heredity, study of heredity is called genetics. Gregor John Mendel is considered as father of genetics. So these are very important to remember. You have to by heart. Okay, there is no other option for this. Next, father of evolutionary ideas. evolutionary ideas, Empedocles is considered as a father of evolutionary ideas. Next, father of eugenics. Eugenics is the study of the human genetics. So Francis Galton is considered as father of eugenics. Next, father of mutation, Hugo de Vries. Hugo de Vries is considered as father of mutations. Father of modern embryology, Karl Ernst von Baer. Karl Ernst von Baer is considered as father of embryology. Next, father of paleontology. Paleontology means study of fossils. Okay. Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci is considered as father of paleontology. Next, father of taxonomy, Carolus Linnaeus is considered as father of taxonomy. Taxonomy means study of classification and naming of living organisms. So Carolus Linnaeus. Next, father of special creation theory, Father Saurage is considered as father of special creation theory. Super creation theory is also there. Super creation theory is only the God is responsible for the creation of living organisms. That is the concept of super creation theory. Next, fathers of various sciences. Another the 11th one, father of blood groups, Karl Landsteiner. Who is called the father of blood groups? Karl Landsteiner. He discovered the blood groups, human blood groups. Next, father of blood circulation. He is also called father of physiology, animal physiology, William Harvey. Next, father of comparative anatomy. Father of comparative anatomy, G. Cuvier. Father of modern genetics, T.H. Morgan. He is called the father of modern genetics. Father of medicine, Hippocrates. Hippocrates is considered as father of medicine. Next, father of microbiology, Louis Pasteur and Anton van Leeuwenhoek also called as father of microbiology, who discovered the bacteria, pasteurization and unicellular organisms, that is protozoans, were discovered by Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Next, father of immunology. Immunology means study of the resistance. So Edward Jenner, who discovered the vaccine first time, so he is considered as the father of immunology. Next, father of evolution and natural selection, Charles Darwin. So he proposed the theory of natural selection and he is considered as the father of evolution. Next, father of taxonomy, Carolus Linnaeus. Next, father of virology. Virology, study of virus is called virology. Virus are microscopic living organisms. Either they are intermediate between living and non-living things. They become active when they are in the host. They become inactive when they are outside. Okay. So virology is the study of virus. So Ivan Ivanisky studied the tobacco mosaic virus and he is considered as the father of virology. Then father of special creation theory, Father Saurage. So children, here the methodology of science, actually the science is the subject which is very deep and which consists of several studies. The science, whatever the concepts or the hypothesis which we are learning, it is evolved by means of the scientific methods. The methodology of science is first the problem. What is the problem? First, the scientists are also human beings like us. They think differently. They do the things differently. Okay. First, they will select the problem and they will hypothesize There are one or two hypotheses or more hypotheses may be there for that problem. Then experimentation, they will do the experiments, then the results of that experiments will leads to either rejection or possible corrections will be made in the hypothesis. So the first problem, then making the hypothesis, whether that hypothesis is correct or not, they will verify with the help of experiment. Then after that, if the experiment proved to be wrong, then some rejections, or if the experiment is need some corrections, they will do some correction. After correction of the hypothesis, they will give the possible result. Those possible results are again confirmations will be made by series of experiments. Okay. Then after that experimentation, then they will introduce the theories. The theories include several principles or laws. Okay, use and disuse theory, theory of natural selection. Okay, these are all scientists introduced. This method is called the scientific method, which involves the planning and investigation. Okay, it involves the observation, then formation of hypothesis, then experimentation, planning an experiment, conduction of the experiment, then further investigations. Okay, so using the science, several skills are involved like observation, comparing, classification. Okay, so they are called process skills. The hypothesize, plan and conduct the experiment, controlling the variables, the projects, using models, predictions. So these are all, the scientific method involves all these things. So whatever we are learning, it is not so simple. So that's why the science is called, the simple definitions of science, if you see, the science is called the searching of truth. Okay, it is done through the observation of natural phenomenon or through experimentation, and it is a process of thinking. Science is the process of thinking. Science is a tool for searching truth of nature. Okay, children, so this is the first part. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.